But this episode is the first one that I did not release on a Monday. And there's a reason. I was in the freaking hospital.
Welcome to Impact and Fulfillment with Coach Mike D, where you'll gain practical wisdom and dynamic insight from amazing conversations to live your best life.
Yo, dig this. It's your boy, Coach Mike D, with another episode of Impact and Fulfillment. And for those of you all that actually listen to the episodes upon release, this is a little different because this is the first time since summer 2017 that I did not release a podcast episode on a Monday morning. Yeah. The first time since 2017. This is dang near almost 2025, right? And so you're talking about almost 8 years where I've released a podcast episode every Monday, like consistently, right? And it bothered me that I did not release an episode. I mean, even when I'm traveling, I'll schedule ahead, right? And I'll have the stuff, I have episodes in the tank ready to go. So Monday morning it's released because there are people who listen to the podcast and they look for it Monday morning on their ride to work or as they get up or as part of their, perspective to kind of get their day or their week going. But this episode is the first one that I did not release on a Monday. And there's a reason. I was in the freaking hospital. Yeah, man. It's crazy. I was in the hospital. And I'm going to do another episode where I go into like real detail and probably do a video associated with it with some pictures, etc. But long story short, I had a health event on this past Sunday, coming home from my son's wrestling tournament. I was driving home and we were about 10 minutes from the house and my right arm got numb. I didn't think anything of it. And then about 5 minutes later, it got numb again and I lost control of it. And I also lost control of my right leg at the same time. Like complete loss of neurological function of my right arm and my right leg. This has never happened to me before. And I'm driving. So I literally had to stop the car with my left foot and put it in park, call my wife, call 911. My son's in the back seat. And long story short, the ambulance came, took me to the hospital, etc. It was presenting as if I almost had like a stroke or whatever, right? That's kind of what it was presenting, but my face wasn't drooping. And so the symptoms about 45 minutes later completely resolved. And it was like nothing had happened. And they ran a battery of tests. I had to stay overnight, etc. And I got discharged from the hospital late Monday night. So that being said, I didn't have an episode in the tank already. Therefore, I did not release a podcast episode Monday because your boy was in the hospital. Okay. And again, I'm going to do another episode just to talk about health and perspective, etc. later. But there is one thing that I really want to share with you all today. And that is the fact that how you approach everything matters. How you approach everything matters. Every day, and I've shared this before on previous episodes, we ask our kids two questions. What are you thankful for? And what are you excited about? Because when you have gratitude, that causes you to approach life through the lens of being thankful, right? And then when you're excited about something, that allows you to approach life and approach things that you encounter through a level of excitement, and it brings light to the things that you encounter throughout the day because you're excited about something. And going through the ER and the ambulance and coming through that way, and then eventually getting admitted into the hospital and all of that. And I had great care too. Again, I'll talk about that specifically in another episode in the future. But the thing is, they were so surprised to have a patient who was cracking jokes, who was looking to have a good time, who was asking them how they were. It's like the initial response was very much surprise, right? When they're like, dang, okay, you're nice. Or dang, okay, this is different. And it really changed the atmosphere with regard to the care I received. So it served two purposes. One, I do know that my calling in life is to encourage, empower, and enhance, right? And that's to do that in every capacity, with every interaction that I have. My goal is to make sure that whoever interacts with me, their day or something about their day is at least a little bit better after our interaction. The second part to that is I think about the fact that you get more with honey than you do with vinegar, right? So if somebody's going to be sticking me and, sticking tubes and needles and, running tests and putting me through MRI machines and all of that stuff, I want them to be in a good mood, right? Because truthfully, I want good care. And again, we are thermostats, not thermometers, meaning we don't realize the power that we have to turn situations up or turn them down. We have the power to lighten the mood. We also have the power to make the mood and the room extremely heavy. And that starts with how we approach things. So this is kind of the message that I want to put out there, man. Life is a blessing. Tomorrow is not promised. In any specific moment, things can change with the snap of a finger, right? But in spite of all of that, we need to approach each moment with a sense of gratitude, but also find something to be joyous about. I recently watched, and it's kind of an ironic thing. I recently watched the Jamie Foxx special in which he talked about having a stroke last year and all of that. And his special, he made a quote that resonated with me, and it meant so much. And that really guided me in how I approach my health event recently. He said, if I can stay funny, I can stay alive. And we've heard over the years that laughter is the best medicine. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. There's some truth to that. Even if things are dire, right? If we can find joy, if we can find some laughter, if we can find some humor in the midst of challenging circumstances, it changes not necessarily the outcome, but how we approach the outcome. It doesn't necessarily mean that things are going to be perfect, but you may have a good time on the road to whatever the outcome may be, right? And so I just said all of that to say, let's be thankful, but let's also be joyous. And it's not even just about you. Think about the light that you bring into the lives of other people. Sometimes, even if you're going through something yourself, you don't realize that they need it more than you do. And I saw that in case after case and time after time in my brief inpatient stay in the hospital, that there were even caregivers who needed an opportunity to share what's going on with their life. And when they shared some of their story, even me being up in a hospital and having dealt with some craziness or whatnot, I even looked at myself and I'm like, ooh, I'm blessed. Now, we all are blessed no matter what, but we just have to be mindful of bringing the light, bringing the goodness, because you don't know who needs to hear that. And whether or not they respond in a favorable manner in that instant is beside the point. You're doing what you're supposed to do, and you don't know the lasting effect that your kindness or your joy can bring to a situation, possibly years down the road. So, y'all, that's kind of my little quick testimony, explanation as to why I didn't have a podcast episode drop this Monday. But it was also refreshing to realize that I am not dogmatic to my schedule. I believe the guy's name is Kevin Kelly, say, don't value your schedule your values. And when I do executive coaching or personal development work with individuals, we talk about that a lot. The valuing of your schedule versus scheduling your values. And it's interesting. Life gives you an opportunity to take a dose of your own medicine. And I had to not necessarily value my schedule, but schedule my values. And at that moment, scheduling my values meant 911, get to the hospital, make sure my family is safe and secure, figure out what's going on, and then I can get around to recording an episode like this one. But anyway, I pray everybody is well. Grab a copy of my book, The 33 Laws of Impact and Fulfillment. If you want, you can also grab a copy of my book, Dynamic Black Fatherhood Manifesto. Or if you really are feeling froggy, you can grab a copy of my first book that I wrote way back in 2015. It's called Abe, Always Be Engaged, the seven keys to living a fit urban life. And but yeah, appreciate y'all. And until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace.
I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and follow Coach Mike D everywhere on social media. Y'all be blessed, well, and wise.